Hi guys, Kristen here, and I would like to welcome you guys to the first episode of my weekly video series, Whoa Man, where I address specific feminism issues that are addressing women and men today. After reading an article the other day called the How Toxic Masculinity is Destroying Men on bus.com, I decided to make this video series and to kind of get my voice out there and my opinions out there. I'm an anti-feminist and a modern day womanist, and in this article I felt the need to address first because of what it talks about. It talks about 4 different types of masculinity that are common among men, as designed by a study done by R.W. Connell. I would also like to address hypermasculinity, the way that it's described in the article, as well as how masculinity has affected us as a society. So first, I guess I'll go off by describing the 4 different types of masculinity that were described. We have hegemonic masculinity, subordinate masculinity, complicit masculinity, and marginal masculinity. Hegemonic masculinity would be the typical alpha male, strong, aggressive, successful, prideful, determined, driven, assertive, dominant type male, the typical alpha male. The subordinate masculinity would be the beta males, the ones who follow the alpha males around, who carry some of the characteristics but aren't quite to that level of alpha male status. Then complicit would not fit the criteria of complicit masculinity would not fit the criteria of hegemonic masculinity, but does nothing to challenge modern day gender roles. So I guess they would be the neutral party. And then there's marginal. Marginal masculinity is the exact same as hegemonic masculinity, except it covers those that are of a different race or disability. Hegemonic masculinity is usually referring to cisgendered white males. I assume that it's broken up that way due to white privilege, associating white privilege with male privilege. But there are also, amongst the subordinate masculinity line, there are also those who are considered effeminate or sometimes gay in masculinities as well. It addressed these 4 types of masculinities by saying that the hegemonic masculinity, the alpha male masculinity, came out to be the bad masculinity out of the group. And it was addressed within the article as hypermasculinity. Hypermasculinity is an exaggeration of hegemonic masculinity, where it focuses heavily on an exaggeration in physical strength, aggression, and sexuality. To reference people within that article, they decided to use Bill Cosby, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, men along those lines, to explain their point against hypermasculinity. Now, when I address this, I had to come at this from different standpoints. I had to think of how I was going to do this and come at this from different angles. So to come at this from different angles, the first angle I came at it is hypermasculinity, the name in itself, and how it's an exaggeration of already another form of masculinity. Hypermasculinity, in that exaggeration where men are overly confident, wanting to fight all the time, feeling that fighting is necessary for their social status. Men who are aggressive with women and aggressive in their lives and aggressive, often, physically harmful to women, physically harmful to other people, sexually harmful to women, sexually harmful to other people, and so on. Such as people who are, I guess, along the lines of Bill Cosby, Donald Trump, and Bill Clinton, who are usually seen as misogynistic and chauvinistic men. Now, these men, I can't even give their own masculinity I can't even call them hypermasculine, because that's giving them a bar that they don't deserve. That's giving them a grid and a section they don't deserve. Not all men are like that, and especially not all alpha male or hegemonic masculine men are like that. Just because a man is dominant, loud, or assertive, or prideful does not mean that he is physically harmful, that he is a bad man, that he is perpetuating a horrible stereotype of men, because he's not. When people of all genders look at people like Donald Trump, who say awful, horrible, chauvinistic things, or people like Bill Clinton, who cheat on their wives and lie to the entire country, or people who are like Bill Cosby, who do drugs with women and have sex with them and abuse their abilities while they're under whatever influence. Everyone who looks at those types of men know that those men are wrong. That type of attitude is wrong. You don't touch women without their permission. You don't drug women. You don't cheat on your wife. These things are wrong. These things are known as wrong. And everyone inherently knows that they are wrong. And in the article it says that type of lifestyle is pushed on young boys and men as they grow up. And I have to completely resent that and throw that out the window, because that's a complete lie. Because most men will look at stuff like that. They don't want their sons to go out raping women. They don't want their sons to go out talking horribly and rudely and disgustingly about women. Most fathers want their sons to be good, hardworking, educated, strong, powerful men who treat their woman right, who find a good woman to help them and to complete them and to keep going. Most men do not encourage that hyper-masculine exaggeration. It doesn't happen. Even in movies and TV in the societies, when they're talking about hyper-masculinity, referring to frats and the fraternities and how they act. Even in movies and society ourselves and what's pushed on us through media, even that pushes that is wrong, that acting that way is wrong. Revenge of the Nerds, the movie, the nerds were the good guys, the frats were the bad guys. So even throughout the whole thing, everyone is pushed to see that frats and that style of activity, that type of attitude is not right. And judging that type of, associating that type of attitude with all fraternities is not fair to those fraternities that don't actually act that way, that don't actually behave in that manner, and that take a lot of responsibility and pride in what they do and what they have built and the brotherhood that they have. So let's not defeat all fraternities and put them all in this group, because what we're also doing with that is, by taking the hypermasculinity stereotype, we're blanketing all other men with that stereotype, and that's not fair, and feminists really need to stop doing that. When I assumed the other way that I came from this was thinking of an evolutionary standpoint. Let's go from science. Hegemonic masculinity men are supposed to be a little bit detached from their feelings, and that's supposed to be a bad thing. Of course, all of us women would want you more in touch with your feelings as men when we're in relationships with you, because we are very in touch with our feelings. But that's an evolutionary biological necessity, as the same with a man's ability to detach. Because back in cavemen days, when we needed them to go hunting and killing and all that stuff, men would go out and kill and see blood and guts and muscle and disgustingness and be able to tear all of these animals to pieces and eat them and prepare them for us, and see all these horrible things without being scarred. So they couldn't have the same emotional attachment like women have. Women, we are a deeper feeling creature. We're supposed to be that way because we are nurturing, we are supposed to mother, we are supposed to help perpetuate and take care of the babies as they grow up until they can take care of themselves. And you have to think about how that affects even us now. Even though we are thousands of years evolved from that, that type of gender role that we're trying to get out of is still ingrained within us, because biologically and evolutionally speaking, we need that to keep going. We need to have that dynamic to keep going. And the best part is that even in this modern day where we don't have to go hunting or worry about tigers eating us or what have you, we can come together and feed off of what we have that the other doesn't. And I see feminists trying to push men down and accept more feminine aspects and suppress masculine aspects of their personalities. And I don't think that we should do that. We need powerful, strong, assertive, dominant men in our society. We need them because throughout our history, those men have been leaders, rulers, kings, emperors, scientists, inventors. These men have shaped our entire history and into our current present. Now, I'm not saying that women haven't done the same, because we have, and we've done the same thing. But those women had masculine aspects. They had that hegemonic masculine aspect. They were dominant. They were driven. They were prideful. They were strong. They were assertive. Instead of trying to suppress that type of masculinity, we should push that type of masculinity onto other people. Urge people to be that driven, be that way, be dominant, be assertive. Don't be afraid to get out there and do things and achieve things. And no man or woman should be ashamed of the success that they have acquired, of what they have done in their lives, of what they have completed and achieved in their lives. So pushing hegemonic masculine people down is not the way to help this. We need alpha males in our society. We need leaders. We need people to mold and shape our society. So instead of trying to make men feel horrible for being powerful and assertive and making them feel bad and comparing them with a group of testosterone pumped 21-year-old stupid frat boys who are drunk or high on God only knows what, or comparing them to people like Donald Trump who always say horrible, chauvinistic, misogynistic things and probably live their life that way. You can't stop associating them with those men with all alpha males, because that's not how it is. And stop pushing alpha males down. We need to raise them up. We need to spread. Instead of alpha males, let's throw in some alpha females. Let's get them in there. We have to understand we have to understand that we can come together and we can take on those traits and we can feed them our traits as well. We can feed off each other. That's what we're supposed to do as men and women. That's why we are different. That's why different comes together and works, because we can feed off each other and become better. So men, do not suppress your alpha male thing. If you want to be proud of yourself. Be proud of what you've done. Be proud of what you've achieved. Be proud of being a good father. Because those alpha male type personalities, those men are more likely to become great fathers. Those men are the ones who create homes, who create families, who create a center. So don't take those men away from our society. Stop pushing them down. Stop telling them that that's not how they should be, because we need more men that way. We really, really do. We need more men to be that way. Now, is it wrong to be caring or a little bit effeminate as a man, or to be completely effeminate as a man. No, that's totally on you. Do what you feel comfortable doing, but do not feel bad for being who you are and being the type of person that you are. If you are successful and driven and you push yourself and you want to be assertive and you want to be dominant, then go do it. Do everything that you want to do. Women, be the same way. Go out there, do everything that you want to do. Be an alpha female. Get out there, push the envelope, do what you need to do, and don't apologize for getting to where you need to get to. But don't step on others in your road to do it. And feminists, stop trying to suppress men. Because with feminism, I'm tired of seeing feminism try to bring women above men under the guise of equality. Because you're really pushing for inequality. Men are not less. Women are not less. We are equal, and if we are going to see each other as equal, we have to accept each other's opposite traits. So men, don't stop being masculine. Go out there, be masculine, be effeminate, be whatever you want to be, and don't be ashamed to be that. And feminists, stop trying to push men down. If men want to go outside and cut wood or be dominant or yell when they're angry, that's just who they are, and let them be that way. If it's when they start infringing on someone else's rights that we should all decide to step in. So, anyway, that's my opinion on the subject. There will be more episodes to come. There's a lot of feminism out there I need to address and talk about that I would love to talk about. So, I hope you guys like my video. I hope you agree with me. The article that I referred to is in a link at the bottom in the information box. You guys can check it out and read it for yourselves, form your own opinions. And I hope you guys subscribe, like my video, subscribe, and find me on Facebook at the FeMANist, or you can find me on Twitter at the FeMANist as well. So, thank you guys.